reestablished and business as usual. Another company commander come in. Get back that night. Major Surfer says, "Hey, check on your guys, and then get some chow in you if you can, and then come meet me back in the COC for follow-on missions." Hey, roger that, sir. Went back over there. Initially, I'll say this right now. Initially, I saw Lieutenant Carroll. I said, hey, "Come talk to me right now." Went to my room and I said, "What the hell happened out there? What the hell did we do?" You know, and Carol and I had a very long talk about what happened. And you know, your initial reactions, you may want to say, you know, you lost a 6 on your watch, but really, Carol did an outstanding job out there, you know, maintaining it, and that's another story. To go with Carol to go check on the boys to see how they're doing, both Weapons Platoon and 3rd Platoon, and elements of Cat Blue. After that, come back into the COC, and Major Schroepfer goes, "Hey, Dom, you need to take the company back out tomorrow. You're going to sweep from north to south. Because you know the city better, we're going to give you the harder mission where most of the violence is. You're going to take the eastern side of the city, Recon's going to take the middle, and then Kilo's going to take the west side of the city as you go from north to south." So essentially, we had all the way to the checkpoint 69, all the way down. So we had a fairly large size piece of the battle space of our city to go north to south, and there'd be a coordinate element going down. Casualty collection point was established here at LZ Eagle, where battalion casualty collection point and detainee collection point was going to be. Parts of Recon were going to be at the hospital in the city as well. So I brought all the platoon commanders in that night and said, "Hey, we got to go back out tomorrow and sweep north to south of the city, building to building. We're going to do a systematic clear. We're going to basically do a movement to contact, and we're going to, you know, flush everything that's bad out of there once and for all and finish the fight." Webb's platoon was extremely exhausted. They'd been out 8 hours the night before, plus fighting all day that day. So there's no way I wanted to use them again. They had a good fight, so I put them back there on firm base security and detainee watch. I took 1st Platoon, I took Kilo 1, I took Lima 3, and I took Lima 2. And I broke them off to 3 to 4 block battle spaces and gave each platoon a 3 to 4 block battle space where they had to go sweep from north to south, starting at about 09 in the morning, and gave them their initial warning order at about 2300 at night to be back here at 05 for a confirmation brief. Warning order at 2300, order at 05, 0630 confirmation brief, ready to go out. Roger that, good to go. Put them all, turn them back to the Marines so they could bed them down, let them get the rest they needed. Went back, and this is one thing I really liked about Major Gannon, was that a lot of that you have in your book there was very systematic and very referenced. So I essentially just took one of his orders as a shell and wrote the next Frago as a 1st lieutenant to do a company level operation. I used CAP to basically work our coordinates as we're going south the city, and while I used another element of CAP to provide do medevac and detainee support and refueling or sustainment, basically chow, water, ammo, and all that, and an internal mobile QRF, all those capabilities. And Moore was more than capable of doing it, and he was all about, and he was very, Lieutenant Moore did a hell of a job putting CAT in there, integrating into this amount of movement. And that's exactly what we did. I mean, it was an on-foot movement to contact, north to south, house to house. We must have detonated at least 16 or 17 of them IEDs that day. Had sporadic firefights throughout the city that day as well. And rounded up a few foreign fighters. Especially, what it looked like is a lot of them managed to make it south of the city, but they never quite made it over there, and they ended up just hiding out south of the city. But the cordon was so tight that they couldn't go anywhere. So we really cornered them. And to 3rd Platoon's credit, once again, they found a major hideout spot. There were these 2 women south of the city, and initially the three came on board on the net and said, hey, you guys have been out there for a good, 17 or 18 hours. Maybe you want to stop and rest, refit, and go at this again. I said, no, we've got momentum. We're making some money. Let's continue to finish this through. And Kilo 6 backed me up on it and said, hey, I'm with Lima 6. Let's go ahead and continue to do this. And because of that, sure enough, there's 2 women in there, and they tried to say they didn't have anyone in there, and we found Lima 3, found a whole bunch of AK-47s, some RPGs, and 4 or 5 insurgents hiding out in there. And so we brought all of them back and had them detained and brought them up. But yeah, good on Lima 3 on doing that in his zone.
Can you say anything more about the cooperation between mounted and dismounted patrols?
The good thing about that was CAT, one of the capabilities, battlefield circulation. And if you really want to put in, hey, they're responsible for doing casualty collection, mobile QRF, resupply, that's all tied into battlefield circulation and integrating it in. So while we were going south of the city, they also would, while we had a CAT element, really skirting along this way, we had other CAT just going in and around, four of us pushing through the streets there, establishing position and gaining, putting their weapon systems, down our avenue of approach, really integrating, putting themselves integrated well between the platoons as they're pushing down south. And so that's exactly what they would do. From point to point, they'd move around, just driving through the city, 4 of us, getting eyes on while we were pushing south of the city. And we established trigger lines. We'd go about every 2 blocks, and we'd stop on line so we could systematically go through all the houses, and CAT would cover our avenues of approach as we're pushing south of the city. This is very systematic, very slow, very methodical, but it was probably the best and only sweep that I've seen in my short Marine Corps career that was extremely effective. I mean, the battalion looked at every single house, and after we went through the city there on the 18th, we would sweep through the 440 on the 19th, while Kilo would do another sweep through Carbila on the 19th. And it's worked extremely well. So really, if you want to talk about the Battle of Ceiba, you could technically say it went from the 8th all the way till the 20th. If you want to get down to specifics, the heaviest concentrated battalion-sized operations was the 17th all the way through the 19th. On the 20th, everything collapsed up, and we pushed back down to company level operations as Kilo Company and the rest of the battalion pushed back towards Alcan. Major Schreffler stayed behind for about another week for me to ensure that the transition from XO to company commander was well and set.
Is that in part because Major Schreffler was the previous commanding officer of Lima Company?
Yes, definitely. He was definitely the better man, the better person to do that, to ensure that. And he did it in a way where he didn't get away with my operations, but he really didn't say much. He was my agent for battalion to speak on my behalf, until I could get comfortable with speaking with battalion on a full basis. And plus, he was the officer there, so I could directly go to him, and he saw what I saw on the ground. And as soon as that transition was complete, he pushed back up. But one thing I will throw in there that was really fantastic was it wasn't just Major Schreffler, but Major Harrison and Major Schreffler kind of mentored me throughout, my development as a company commander. They really stuck tight, never berated me, never, definitely weren't soft on me. Definitely, and I wouldn't say hard is not the word, because they were definitely hard on me because there was an expectation to be met, but it's just like that ILC instructor mentor type of relationship, and that's exactly the way it was. And not one bit that I ever felt like that I was being set up for failure. Those 2 individuals set me up for success the whole time I was there, which was important. And you normally don't see that. At least it was definitely a different feeling from OF1, where the 3 was definitely more directive, and Major Henderson and Major Schreffler were definitely much more team building. And there were times they definitely got in my rear a couple times.